Like the flames, the moths will come. Like the flame, and the moths will come. Flame is lit. Flame is lit. A few seconds. A few minutes. The whole thing, this one is, did you receive your whisper? I received mine a while back. A while back. I gotta start telling y'all ahead of time that I'm gonna be holding alive. Keep doing this damn thing. The very last nanosecond. Gotta be a little more professional with my digital approach now. All right. Sometimes, you know, you gotta be in the moment. The moment is the best thing to be in at these times. Sometimes you'll catch me when you catch me. Other times you'll know when I'm going live. You know? It's going to pretty much go back to what I was talking about before, in a way. Did you receive your whisper? Like the flame, the moths will come. Once the flame is lit, the moth shall come. The moths will come when the flame is lit. What's good, Desmond? How you doing, family? All right. Appreciate you attending. Another moth. Hello to you as well. Hell high and hell low. The hell in the middle. Hell to all, heaven to all. We all here. Enjoy the flame, the moths shall come. I'm well. I'm well. Saying I'm well-being. I'm well-being, Randy. I see you back again. You know what I'm saying? You're a part of the moths. I'm a part of my moth, a part of your flame. We're all a part of each other's flames. We're all moths. We're all flames. So today's thing is pretty much based on, did you receive your whisper? I'm sure everybody here pretty much is conscious to a certain degree. The flame is the light that emanates and permeates from your aura, from your moment, from your presence. The whisper is based upon a certain kind of knowing. It's not a sound, it's not a voice. It's more of a unknown spiritual activity that you just begin to do. And you know in your heart of hearts that what you're doing is right and exact in alignment with your divine purpose. Especially when it comes to when you don't understand what the hell you're doing. You're like, I don't understand why I'm writing this. I don't understand why I'm reading this. I don't get it. I may have an interest, it may hold my attention, but I just have a natural affinity to it. And you don't know why. And that's a good thing, because that means that you remain somewhat in what is known the right brain, the feminine brain, the feminine part of the brain, which is creativity, relaxation, and receptivity. Creativity, relaxation, receptivity, which in brainwave understanding dealing with the Hertz by somebody named Henrik Hertz in the 1800s, He was dealing with electromagnetic wave theory and understanding how these waves emanate from the cortex of the brain in alignment with the spine, how a person may react, how they may act, how they may think, what they may do during these moments in times of calculating and figuring the specific brainwave activity and human activity. Brainwave activity or brainwave emanation and human activity, and see what the person begins to do and how they begin to feel and animate themselves. So according to the brainwave, this is the right brain. Dealing with the right brain, you're dealing with the delta and theta. Delta and theta. Delta is, these are planes of existence, literally planes of existence. That's why you have the Delta Airlines, the plane of Delta Airlines. That's not by mistake, because that's the delta wave of the brain. You have a plane of existence. These are planes of existence. So the delta brainwave deals with deep restorative sleep, and the theta bandwave or brainwave deals with deep relaxation and creativity. That's the reason why I said the creative nature, dealing with creativity. So you receive and then you create. That's the whisper. You're in reception mode, and then all of a sudden you begin to animate and articulate as much as possible what you're receiving about, and being very real to your experience, very real to your reality, and not seeing it from a bad or good kind of perception. You're not seeing it from bad or good because you actually, I mentioned this a few times, being a certified metaphysical psychologist myself, it's a closing of something in the brain called the longitudinal fissure, which I don't hear nobody talking about. I have a very unique kajrij, which means a doorway. This is your indigenous tongue. We have to begin pronouncing things in indigenous tongue. It doesn't have to be a certain kind of a specific people or specific tribe or specific civilization or specific time and era. It can be any language that your vocal cords gravitate to while pronouncing something in a certain manner that matches a vibration that you begin to reverberate internally that invokes the spirit and makes it an external experience. If that makes any sense. I'm also a book writer, like I said, so I can be kind of very elaborate and stretchy and spiderwebby with my words, but I know how to kick this shit like baby food. Gerber, simple. You can ask people in the consultations, students in my classes. I kick it very simple. I don't be too complex, too complicated with the words, the understandings. It can be a very simple understanding if you have a simple mind. And the simple mind is based upon the closing of the longitudinal fissure, the both parts of the brain hemisphere. When it closes, instead of having that gap in the middle, when that gap in the middle begins to close, you create the smooth ashula over the philosopher's stone. I always mentioned this before as well. Philosopher's stone is the pineal gland. You want to begin to have more activity, intentional activity with your pineal gland. That is a part of the three kings, the triune, the trinity aspect, the pineal gland, pituitary, and hypothalamus. This is the triple teamwork thing that secretes a certain fluid from these glands that permeate through your bloodstream, that begin to turn these crystals, because DNA is nothing but crystals. It's what one of the elders said, crystalline lattice. It's a certain kind of crystal body, and it has certain things in it called graphites and fullerenes that will, it's like little corners that of composites of lights that you receive. And as it tumbles, it generates certain colors like a kaleidoscope. Like if you have a crystal and you put that in the sun and you turn that crystal, certain lights will begin to emanate off that crystal onto the surface of your skin and things around you. It does the same thing within the darkness of your body. Within the darkness, the light was found. So it's not a liquid per se. Nothing is really a liquid. Things are these crystal bodies that are tumbling so perfectly next to each other, like a game of Tetris, that it looks like a smooth liquid is just flowing through you or flowing out of you if you get a cut, blood, whatever's going on. But it's actually perfect geometrical crystal bodies tumbling and rubbing next to each other each other while it's tumbling down, I guess, your skin or whatever it may be, any kind of liquid form, sweat, it doesn't matter. These are crystal bodies, crystal bodies. So, and we are the crystal body. And as these crystals also rub against each other, they create electric currents. And this is where you get the electron understanding as well, because it creates atomic bodies. And around an atom, or the atomic atom, or the atomic structure of an atom, are electrons. These electrons are potential for new life to begin. So sometimes you may say, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Did the atom come first, or was the electron there first? Because when the atom pops up, an electron begins to circulate it or orbit it. But was that atom there before, and was it invisible? Who was there first? So these are mental battles that we keep on giving attention to. It doesn't matter who was there first and who was last. It matters to a certain degree, but not to the ultimate degree, to understand a certain kind of gnosis within self. You want to have a foundation, absolutely. You want to begin to identify with something, but don't get lost in the identification. Like I said, we have a lot of spiritual Jim Carreys all over the internet, that people get spiritual, they give spiritual enlightenment, but this identity that they had to go back to understand a certain kind of gnosis, they get identified with that mask, and then that mask becomes almost impossible to pull off. And we need them too. We need them too. We need anybody and everybody classifying themselves as such for whatever degree, because us as solar beings need to take off of these spiritual categories to begin to create our own being, our own understanding of self. So you don't really want to look at this reality from a judgmental point of view. You want to begin to observe this on both sides of the polarity. You want to see the good as the bad as the good, to make a connection. Like this thing on my chest can be called an ankh, right? They call this an ankh. And this was made by one of the elders' wives that I came up with, my Jade. She made this specifically for me. Real copper, thick copper, real crystal, and a glass or mirror in the middle. Some people can see this and say that's the ankh. That represents XYZ ABC. Okay, cool. But this can also be seen as a symbol or a scepter of something called the Cashapp, which deals with the Cometians and the Egyptians, or whatever you want to call it. And he was known as this evil deity, or he was perceived as something evil or evil deity, or evil understanding, or evil kind of movement, whatever people want to perceive it as, for whatever reason. But it's not really the object or the symbol. And this is also known as a microbiological symbol within the chemical of your body and your veins. This is in a book called the Isis Thesis. This ankh is also known as the A'at, where you get the word Ma'at from the word A'at, which means a cosmological, astrological activity. So this symbol can mean so many different things according to who's perceiving it and what kind of frequency and vibration that they're on. But it doesn't mean that that's the actual truth of this symbol. This symbol means whatever the hell it means to me, not who it means to somebody else. It's not about what this means to somebody else. Symbology is about what it means to you. What does it mean to you? This is what it boils down to. This is where a lot of people freak out. They freak out like, okay, well, that's an evil thing, or that's a good symbol, or that's a bad symbol, or that's a whatever symbol. A symbol is whatever you make it. Everything is made of atoms, and atoms have ionic intelligence, which means it's composed of ions. These ions are things that have a positive side and a negative side. So you make it whatever you want to make it according to how it's beneficial to you and your purpose and your interpretation of it, not how somebody else perceives it. Symbols are not evil. Symbols are made from the mind. The mind is not evil. It doesn't matter what happens, or who drew what, or who or constructed what symbol. That's not the case. That doesn't matter. What are you doing with the symbol? What does the symbol mean to you? We have to begin to take or reclaim what we cosmologically inherited. Our inheritance is to interpret and make any symbol our own, not according to how it was used, anything. Because say somebody used a symbol to sacrifice people. You can take that same symbol and put pretty flowers around it, make a smiley face on it, draw a picture of a nice, beautiful, sunny day on it with people walking their dogs or whatever hell, you know what I'm saying, butterflies flying in the air. You can take any symbol that's anything that's been used in ancient times, doesn't matter what they used it for, and you can make it your own. A symbol comes from the mind. All symbols that were created and drew on any wall, anything, it came from the mind, and the mind is not evil. The mind is not pure. The mind is what the mind is. Take anything and make anything of it. Everything is composed of atoms. An atom is an ionic intelligence, which means it's going to turn positive or negative based upon how you perceive it and how you're utilizing it. The swastika that Hitler used in Germany, you can take that same symbol, and like I said, you can draw a smiley face on it. Every time you receive a degree or a certification, you put that symbol on that degree and you draw it right in the corner of that piece of paper, the swastika, on something that you've achieved. And now you have turned that swastika, which was used as something evil or negative, and you turn it into a positive. Whatever you may feel may be bothering you, or that's kind of, I don't know, that's kind of weird, that's kind of devilish, that's satanic-ish, whatever you want to call it, I don't know, I don't care. But it just shows you where you're at in your stage of development. What's good, Jay? What's going on? It shows that person where they're at in their stage of development. They haven't yet closed that gap in their brain. They're still separated. They're still hemispherically separated in their brain because they see things as good and as bad. Good and bad. Negative, positive. This is brain play, which means that you're not walking the path of the heart. You're not walking the middle path of the shaman. You're still stuck in the brain. You're still stuck in the skull. You're still stuck in the skill. You haven't yet graduated. Skills are to be used and utilized, not worshipped and followed. It's like a tool. It's a skill. So most people are still stuck in the skull, and they're looking at things as judgments. What's going on today? What's going on tomorrow? What happened yesterday? What happened last week? Look what they did last month. We're too outward. We're too external. We're not inward and we're not internal enough. And maybe that's supposed to be that way, because I'm not fighting it. If y'all want to be external, y'all could be external. This is for the internals. This is the channel for the internals, for the people who want to go deeper inside and kind of ignore the outside of things. This is what this channel is about. This is what my subconscious scribers are about, what my students are about, what my consultees are about. This is what I teach. These are the levels that I reach within an individual. This is what I do. So either you catch whiff of this and it makes sense to you, or it doesn't make sense to you. Either way, it doesn't matter. This is a very sacred mission. This is a very sacred understanding, a very sacred path. This is not popular. What I'm teaching is not popular. It's not based for mass consumption. It's not made for that. It's made for the very few. The very few. Somebody asked before about the products on the website. I always say, Cashapp is more preferred. You can hit me by email as well. The information will be in the bottom, as well as in the bottom of all my videos. Cash App is more preferred than anything of the other payment platforms on the website. Um, so these are things that we have to begin to really incorporate and infuse in our being, according to this channel, according to this path, according to this gnosis. I'm not saying this is for the world or this is for everybody, and I'm trying to reach everybody with this light. That is impossible. You can't reach everybody with a light. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's just certain individuals. You're gathering, as I mentioned in the last live, you're gathering your solar system, your solar body of individuals. You're gathering. You're trying to see what is your gathering. What is your gathering of the masters? What masters are you gathering as the master that you are? What masters are you waking up? What masters are you gravitating towards you that you can reflect back from and reflect on and shine on and receive the shining back in return? This shows you who you are and what you are. Most importantly, what you are more than who you are. What you are. Because you really want to know what you are. Who you are, you can look in the mirror for that. You can grab a birth certificate. You can look at your ID for that. You can grab your social security card and understand who you are. But what you are is hidden. And that's the aspect of you that you need to begin to draw out. What the elders called idukare. To draw out, to invoke, to pull out on the surface. That's what this promotes. That's what this is for. To pull out that hidden aspect within you that's hiding from you. It hides from you. Just like your face hides from you. You can't see your face. A face is a force. Face, force, force, face. It's the same damn thing. Your face hides from you, so therefore your force hides from you. But it's the whole point is to pull out that force. And the force gets pulled out by putting it under a certain kind of level or depth of pressure. You have to be under a certain pressure. This is why a lot of yogis, Sufis, sages, spiritualists, these people have horrific stories. They have horrific histories of things that happened to them because they had to be under a certain pressure for that energy to get compressed to now express itself as a force. So you have to be under a certain kind of pressure for that energy to equal into force, to expose that hidden force that is hiding deep, deep, deep within you. And I come from that class. I'm cut from that blade. So I came amongst, like I said before, elders, masters, gods, teachers, universal, cosmic, galactical, monsters with this knowledge and this gnosis. And even some of them they claim Egyptian, some of them claim Hebrew, some of them claim Moors. Beautiful. That's human politics and things that happen. That's tribal politics, civilizational politics, things that happen at those times and eras for whatever reason, unbeknownst to us now, present day. We can begin to put the pieces together. That's fine. I don't care. I'm not here to banish somebody's religion, their belief, their system, their understanding. I'm not here for that. Just like what the Moors did before in Al-Andalus when they built over 20 universities. And they said anybody and everybody can come regardless of your religion, your belief, your system, whatever's going on. I don't give a shit. Or you just come. I don't care how you dress. I don't care what you believe in, how many gods you believe in, what God it is. It doesn't matter. Just come and we teach you universal gnosis. You can't be of just one thing in that kind of format teaching global minds. You have to be of a different accordance. You have to be something different. You can't be the same. You have to be something different. You have to be a different cloth to do certain things like that. And the Moors weren't the only ones that just did that. We have plenty of people that did that. Plenty of groups, plenty of times and eras, plenty of dynasties, plenty of empires that did these things, that brought people together of all kind of cloth, all kind of religions, all kind of faiths. Didn't matter. And we taught universal knowledge, universal gnosis, which is why you get a lot of the sacred geometry and the symbols and stuff, because symbols are universal. A belief system can be fractioned off and bracketed off into different sections and different groups and different people in different places. But universal symbology is the key. This is how you begin to track your spiritual lineage rather than your genetic lineage. And both are important. Your genetic lineage and your spiritual lineage both have a certain value and a great deal of importance, but one supersedes the other. Spiritual lineage supersedes genetic lineage. The unphysical supersedes that which is physical. The unphysical is universal symbology. The sun, the moon, what you call maybe sacred geometry, whatever these symbols are. And it's not necessarily looking back at other people's symbols, at other tribes and civilizational uses of symbology and symbols and sacred geometrical figures, and it's making up your own symbol. As much sacred geometry I have around my home and I have around my neck and I have on my fingers, this is not more powerful than the symbols that I create out of my mind. Your magic, your mind magic is the truest, deepest magic because it's coming out of the present you. Your magic comes out the present you. That's the deepest, most potent form of what you want to call magic or mind magic. Using your intention about what makes sense to you. What makes sense to you? What does life mean to you? What does death mean to you? You know? Where are these understandings coming from? Within you. What do you really want to know? What is it that you want to know in life? What are you really seeking? Are you seeking anything? And if so, what is it that's seeking that? Is it you? Or is it something deeper behind the you? That's the I within the you. Because this channel is for the I within the you, not the you covering the I. So what's seeking? Are you seeking? What is it that you're seeking? What is it that you want to know? Do you have a reason for what you want to know? Or are you just here to know? These things matter. People really don't know what they're seeking. And then this is a reciprocating paradoxal reality, which means that which you are seeking, how do you know that that which you are seeking is not actually seeking you? How do you tell the difference? Who's seeking who? What is seeking what? This is for the thinkers, not just the thinkers, but also the knowers. You want to begin to know something. Thinking can be shut on and shut off, but knowing never shuts off. Knowing doesn't have a turn on and shut off switch. Knowing is a constant. It stays with you, no matter what. This spiritual gnosis is a very deep understanding. It's a very deep knowing. This is not for the faint of hearts. This is not for, to play around. You don't play around with this kind of thing. This is not to be played with. This is not a 9 to 5 thing that you just say, okay, I'm going to be spiritual today. I'm going to be the solar being that I am. I'm going to be the cosmic all-knowing Monday through Wednesday, and then Thursday through Sunday. This is not something that shuts off. It was actually something already inside of you that's been turned on, waiting for you to align with something, to activate itself. And then you find yourself in situations. You find yourself around certain books that you want to read, certain people that you just gravitate to for whatever reason unbeknownst to you. Looking at life, begin to look at life as just straight up observable reality. When you look at things as observable reality, you begin to see things from a point of non-judgment. When you judge something, you stop yourself from knowing something deeper. When you judge things, you stop yourself from knowing something deeper within yourself, the self, the primal one within you. You stop that. You stop yourself from getting to that. Observable reality. Just be willing to observe things around you and just see how they begin to talk back to you. And see what begins to talk through you. At the same time things are talking to you, something is talking through you. What is that that's holding that dialogue and that interaction and that conversation while you are just in silence and stillness amongst that thing? And vice versa. We talk too damn much. We think too damn much. And thinking can stagnate one's imagination. If you think too much, it'll fuck up your imagination. If you think too much, and we overdo too much, what I see, what I come across, and I know because whatever vibration I'm on, I'm going to come across the paradoxical vibration. Or I'm going to come across a polarizing vibration, or the opposite, or the polarity of whatever vibrational cord that I'm plucking. Because I have such a height and a depth of self-awareness and self-realization, my force, my energy isn't to bring me around those mostly who are opposite to that. No matter what mask and costume that they have on, my vibration will detect and will sift out and filter out who and what I am amongst. And that's how it happens. It's quite simple. What I'm saying is quite clear. It's not perplexed. It's not complicated. It's not complex. It's quite clear. It's quite simple. If your longitudinal fissure is closed or has begun to begin closing, only then will what I'm saying make any damn sense to anyone. But like I said, this is not for the mass. This is not for mass consumption. I'm not trying to collect the people. I'm trying to see something inside of the people. I'm trying to see through their pupil rather than see the people. I don't want to see people. I want to see pupil. I want to see that darkness, that black dot, that Bindu seed, that Darth. I'm trying to see that. To see in the shadows of an individual, in the darkness of an individual, in the hidden aspect of an individual, is that which I am drawn to. Because that is what I am drawn to within myself. I'm a very home person. The first home I live in is the body, which is what my students and everything will tell y'all. You live in the body, and the body lives in a home. So this is my first home. The sun that shines when I want to come outside is an actual internal sun, the black sun. That's the sun I stay at. That's the sun I get shined on, mostly internally. My sun shines internally. That's where my true sun is at, my real sun, my SU1. It's internal. So therefore, I come outside, I go outside when I want to, I do what I want to do and go where I want to go. But most of the time, I'm home based. because I don't need to be outside to get light. I find my light inside. My sun shines inside. So I've seen that the more I went into the dark aspects or the shadow aspects of my being, which is not evil, it's not bad, it's not negative. I'm saying dark is just that which is hidden. Like your spirit is hidden from you. Your soul is hidden from you. What you want to call all or God, this thing is hidden from you. So I like to interact with that which is hidden, because that which is hidden is where I find my light. And even the moth that's drawn to that light is me. I'm the moth drawn to my own flame. This is that saying, when the student is ready, the teacher shall appear. When you are ready, you will appear. Only then. If you are not ready, then you will not appear. And this channel is for those who are ready, or at least preparing to be ready. Because before you're ready, you have to be prepared. If you're either preparing or you're ready, that's what's up. Before you're ready, you have to prepare. If you are not preparing, you will not be ready. And if you are not ready, then you shall not receive. There is an obvious divine order to all things in existence. There is a divine order to all things in existence. If you do not know that divine order, then you're just rolling the dice willy-nilly in life. You don't really know what the hell you're doing, what you're doing, where you're going, where you came from, what your purpose is. You have no idea. So you're just throwing shit up in the air and hoping things fall back in the palm of your hand, and it falls back down. And you don't know what's coming in the grasp of your palm. But to know the divine order is a very important thing to know. So it's okay to look at other people's writings and see other people's perception, but like I tell everybody else, like I say anything all the time, before you look or you see life through somebody else's perception, make sure you are grounded in the foundation of your own perception, because you will begin to become influenced and inspired by that stranger's perception. You may begin to speak like them, think like them, study like them, research what they research, study what they study, dress like them. These things are real. You're going to always be inspired by someone. And that inspiration can cause a false following. It can cause a false following if you do not have a perception of your own. You have to have your own perception. And you think about the writing aspect, like we just started writing, literally. We just started writing in life. According to ancient scripture, ancient time, and ancient gnosis, we just started writing things on stone, rock, wall, temples, sacred spots, whatever you want to call it. We just started writing on things literally like 3,600 years ago. So what were we doing before then? We were an oral people, and before the oral, which is the voice, we talked. There was no writing things down. We didn't have to memorize as much as we do now. There was no memorizing because we had something called cosmic memory. There's a book by Rudolf Steiner, I think Rudolf Steiner, if I'm correct. It's called cosmic memory. We were beings that had cosmic memory. We didn't have to calculate and figure things out and do mathematics and see how, the measuring of things. That was neither here nor there. We just seen something and knew exactly what that was if we seemed again somewhere. It wasn't a figuring thing, which means that the left brain wasn't really there. Neither the right brain as well. There's an understanding to this. So we were a speaking people, a living reality people. We weren't a historical people or a writing people. This is not the genetics that we come from. We don't come from writers. We don't come from historians. We come from a knowing. We come from telepathic and telekinetic genetics. That's what we come from. And that's where you get that saying back in the day in the 80s, they say, don't speak unless you speak in power. Don't open your mouth unless you speak in power. If you ain't speaking power, close your mouth. You got nothing to say and nothing to share. And nothing to help another one grow or prosper or propel in their understanding of self. This is back in the God bodies that came from the 5% nation, the Nation of Islam, and so on and so forth. So a lot of these things that we had put in place for very specific reasons. And these things were put in place to keep us moving in a form of a rites of passage. You have to have, in those times, you had to have, by someone or somebody or the spirit itself, you had to have a right to pass. Meaning, when you read this book, read this book. When you finish reading this book, read this book. Because, and we did it in that form. When you finish listening to him, listen to her. You listen to her, and listen to him. You walked over there, then walk over there. You did this, then do that. And we did these things because we were at a very spiritual height in mind and body and heart and energy and force. And we knew the divine order. It wasn't that we knew I knew more than you. It's just that I knew the order. So once you know the order and somebody wants to or is drawn to what you are doing, what you're teaching, what you're sharing, you give them the order because you know the divine order of what you came across and what you do and what keeps you you. So you pass that divine order to others. But nowadays, there's no rites of passage. You can just type in anything on the internet. You can Google anything on your phone. You can do whatever you want. And there's nobody saying, don't read that yet, read this. What are you interested in, young man or young woman? What are you interested in? Yo, more, read this. Read that then read this. That's how it was when I was growing up. What's good, God? What you want to read? What you want to know, God? You God of self. Okay, read this, God. After you read that, God, then read this. You finish that, God, then read this. You finish that, God, then come meet to this lecture. We're going to meet these elders. After that, we're going to check out these elders next week. They have another show, another showcase, another lecture. That's how it was. We were getting the right to pass into deeper aspects of our being. The rites of passage was real. Now it's just information overload. We are psychologically overwhelmed with I see. And I'm not talking to everybody. I'm talking to talking about a certain section of individuals. This is not for everybody. Everybody is not like this. But if you feel you fit in this category, then I'm speaking to you. These are interesting times. These are not bad times. These are not good times. These ain't horrible times. These ain't evil times. These are interesting times. Catches my attention and holds my interest. But don't get too soaked in that. Take what you take from it, then return back to self. Return back. Reel yourself back into yourself. Reel yourself back into yourself. Don't stay out there. That's not what this path, this channel, and this gnosis and what I teach is about. It's about returning back to self and going through a constant constantly synthesizing in yourself to get to that spot where yourself doesn't exist. Only the self, or the one, the all-knowing, the all-showing will show itself to you. And therefore, when you receive that, you come back out to the surface and you carry out your divine mission. That's what this channel is really about. That's what my thing is really about. And you look at knowledge too, you take knowledge and you understand knowledge. Knowledge is something, it's an infinity or an infinite, interchangeable, interpreting intelligence. Knowledge itself is an infinite, interchangeable, interpreting intelligence. Meaning, however you read something, however you receive something, you get it, is going to change in its infinite formlessness, is going to change and rearrange to fit your interpretation of it. So every knowledge has a positive terminal and a negative terminal. You can say that's something positive, or you can see that's something negative, or you could put both positive and negative together to get the full common understanding of what you're reading, of what you're coming across, of what you're studying, what you're researching. You get to get the full gist of the whole embodiment of it, rather than seeing it as a left side or a right side. Because once you begin seeing that something good or bad, positive or negative, pure or evil, you're dealing in mental politics. So you say, I don't read politics, I don't look at politics, I'm spiritual. But if you see something as good or bad, then that's psychological politics. You're a politician. You're a spiritual politician. You're a mental politician. You're a psychological politician. Because this science, this true science, this deep gnosis is based upon, does it work for you or does it not work for you? And working for you mean while coexisting with all life amongst you without disturbing its true natures. Not is it serving you to rape people, or is it serving you to kill people, or is it serving you to drug people out, or to brainwash people? Does it work for you without disturbing the harmonies of nature around you amongst all life while living coexistent with it, amongst it, in it, around it? Are you causing any kind of imbalance or disturbance or interference or interruption amongst others? Or are you not? That's what I mean when I say, is it working for you? This knowledge is based upon, does it work for you or does it not work for you? If you begin to see this as something good or bad, you are still stuck in the brain. You are encased and entrapped within the skull, which means you are entrapped in the skill. And the skill is just another tool in the toolbox that should be used to build a higher self of you. You don't worship a screwdriver. You don't worship a wrench. You use these things to construct, or rather to construct a new you by being humble to the instruct within. Because something is instructing you to construct a new you, or a more transparent you, a more solar you. Is this for you or is this not? This is not for fan base. This channel is not based upon popularity. It's based upon singularity, if anything. Yeah. That's a good one right there. This shit ain't based upon popularity. This is based upon singularity. Not popularity. This is not popularity. This is based on singularity. Single yourself out from the group, from whatever group. Be your own group. Be your own orbit. Be your own solar body. Be your own galaxy. Be your own cosmos. Be your own universe. Become your own. This is not, I'm not trying to save a world or save a people. I'm not trying to save shit. Because saving somebody means that they now become safe. Remember what a safe is. A safe also keeps things stuck inside of a metal box with a door closed and locked. So if you want to be safe, be locked. Absolute. Acapella. Correct. You know, the word tri is in the word tribe, which means the triune, the trinity, which is your tribe is actually your pineal gland, pituitary, and hypothalamus. That is your tri. So your tribe is literally your tri, which is your triune or your trinity factor. The principle of Trinity, the three. The pyramidal understanding, the Gnostic understanding, the gnosis, the adept. To be the transparent one, the invisible one, the light-bodied one. So to be the tribe. See, we group up, and I get it. We're commune people. We come from tribes. We come from civilizations of people that were commune, and things were matriarchal, which means that the feminine or the goddess aspect ruled over all. And so by nature, both man and woman are commune to a certain degree. And every man comes from a woman. So our very nature, even though we can be the rogue individual or species or type amongst the sexes, we still have a commune aspect within ourselves as men, which is why you have gangs, and things like this, because we also tribe up as well. But the true tribe is the tribe, which is the Trinity. So what you know, what you don't know, what you'll never know, it's based upon principle, not so much as personal, but more based upon principle. Because principle is always what it's about. And when we get too personal, we veer far off from principle. When we veer far from principle, forget it. You fall into the persona, you become a Jim Carrey, another spiritual Jim Carrey with the mask stuck to your face and the costume on your body. And that's, like I said, this is the funny thing, how people get stuck in their genetic lineage and who they're tied to historically. And we want to know that because, like I said before, we want to have a sense of identity. We want to begin to see where we are from so we know where we are going or what we are a part of. But my advice, my understanding as well, is my suggestion is to not get caught even in our old ancient masks and costumes. Don't get stuck and crazy glued to it. Because those people had issues just like you had issues. It's all nigga shit. We have issues like anything else. So you have some people seeing things as good, as bad, and so on and so forth. Wars, conflict. These things happened. These things were real when they happened. For whatever reason. But our history and our mystery and our ancestry is so widespan. It's everywhere, everything, everyone, all at once. So if you want to know your genetic history, all you got to do is say everything. That's your genetic history. Now find your spiritual history, or find your genetic lineage. Now find your spiritual lineage. I always tell people, and I strongly suggest that all the time, I strongly recommend, what is your spiritual lineage? Which means what symbols draw you to it? What do you have an affinity to that you don't even understand why? I'm drawn to this kind of artwork. I'm drawn to these kind of totems. I'm drawn to this kind of objects, these sacred geometries for some reason. I don't even know why. Spirit talks in symbols. And you're going to find the same symbol in every one of these different tribes that hated each other, or these different civilizations that didn't fuck with each other. But they shared the same symbol. What kind of sense does that even make? They share the same symbols. But this one, that symbol on that side is made for, evil shit, if you want to say. And that same symbol on that side is made for childbirth and purity. So it's never about the symbol. It's about your interpretation of the symbol. Everything is composed of atoms, I keep on reiterating, and all atoms are nothing but an ionic intelligence. It's an ion. It's composed of a negative and a positive interpretation. You make any symbol your own. Your own. So even if, like I said before, if somebody used the symbol for anything satanic or whatever people want to call it, I don't even care. You can take that same symbol and put a smiley face on it, and put a flower on it, and draw a nice sunny day on it. As I made an example of the swastika sticker with Hitler in Germany back in the days. You can take that same swastika symbol and you can draw it on a day that you graduated from a class or graduated from a school or a semester, or a day that you earned money for the very first time in your first business. You can draw a little swastika on the corner of that paper and put a little smiley face on it. And draw a little pretty rose on it and a little tree that grows from it. So I'm saying, so it's a symbol is whatever you make it. Symbol is connected to the word symbiosis. You live in it because it actually lives within you. It's a trading of habitat, a trading of realities, or an exchange, an infusion of realities. You can make that symbol work for you, or anybody, even to picture somebody who's known as bad or what they've been, whatever. And this is even why AI, you can use AI to your advantage in this degree as well. I don't use it that much. I don't use it like that. But I'm saying, as far as an example, you can use an AI for your example to create certain kind of meta realities. And these realities become actual real facts. Because somebody may be known as evil, but if you put that person in the AI, the character in a movie or a slideshow or something that you make, and you put him feeding the homeless, helping an old man across the street, and you put him in this AI or her in this AI doing this, that real person will begin to feel what you're doing, and they may begin to act and animate what you are creating in the magic of your imagination. Because all is mind. They share the same kind of mind. There's no your mind and my mind and her mind and his mind. No, there's just mind. And we all share this mind. It's like a home. Mind is a home. Say what we call mind is a home. My corner of mind is in the right side corner of the living room. Your corner of mind is in the left side of the living room. Her corner of mind is inside the bathroom. His corner of mind is in the laundry room. But it's the same home. It's the same mind. This is how you begin to manipulate and orchestrate physical realities from an unphysical platform of existence. Literally. And that physical person will begin to feel what you are doing spiritually. But you're not doing it with an evil intent. You're not doing it with a positive intent, if you want to look at it that way. You're just doing something because you feel like it may cause a certain balance within you, or balance around you, or around your life, or what you're doing, or what you're about. I wouldn't truly advise that per se to deal with people on that level. If you wanted to, you can. A consultation is booked. I can also go a lot deeper into that. Like I said, I only go but so deep on YouTube because everything that I know is not for public display. These are held in private quarters, private conversations. Because if I said everything I know, I truly know historically, geographically, cosmologically, chronologically, anatomically, biologically, psychologically, spiritually, so on and so forth, this live will never shut off. And each one of my videos will be at least 8 days long. But it's not really about what I came across, what I can memorize, what I've read and researched and studied. It's really what I'm applying. What is really hitting me beyond these descriptions, beyond these labels, beyond these titles, beyond these timelines, beyond these times, beyond these eras, beyond these events that happened. What is the same? I'm looking for the thing that connects all these things together. I'm not looking at this as separate fanned out events in different times and different seasons and different zodiac signs. And I'm looking at the one thing that ties all these things into one knot. And this is why I keep seeing a certain kind of what they call a zeitgeist. You see a certain kind of pattern in all these supposed random events and random timelines. You see a certain kind of one wave that just keeps coming across, no matter how many wars and disputes and conflicts that we had and so many things we have. We see that something is constantly in accordance and is following and stitching itself in each one of these events and each one of these people, each one of these symbols. We keep seeing it over and over again. And that's what I'm about. I'm about finding the common thing that ties all these things together. Because people call themselves God. I'm God. I'm God. What's up, God? What's good, God? How you doing, God? I'm God. But God is the one that is attached to all things in existence. So if you call yourself God and you're not tying the Hebrew to the Moors and the Moors to the Cometians and the Cometians to the Nation of Islam and so on and so forth, you can't tie that string that ties them all together, then you're not being of God-esque. You're not godly. You're not God-like. You're not being God. So a lot of people call themselves God, but then stay separate. They're in that separatism. I'm not trying to connect everybody physically, group-wise, tribe-wise. I'm not trying to do all that. Civilization-wise, this is not what this is about. I'm trying to see what the hell keeps appearing in all these things that we call separations. What is the one thing that I find in every single thing that happens secretly and very hidden underneath the radar of people's consciousness that keeps, you see this pattern that keeps happening. Something that keeps following. It could be a symbol. Most likely, most of the time it's symbols. Most of the time, 9 out of 10, it's symbology. And a symbol is not wrong. A symbol is not right. Sacred geometry is not evil. It's not pure. It's not bad. It's not good. It is what it is. And we use it according to however we interpret it and whatever kind of vibration that we're on, whatever we want to call, rain for the crops, rain for the forest. Whatever we need as a people at that time, we do what we do. More childbirths to make more soldiers, to make more warriors, to make more people to protect us of the village, protect us of the tribes, protect us of the people. Growing fruits, food for the family. Whatever we use these symbols for, all these symbols came from one place, and that one place is mind. So if you say that any one of these symbols or sacred geometries are evil, then you're saying that you're evil or that mind is evil, because they got those same symbols and sacred geometries from mind itself. So if you say that's the devil, you're saying you're the devil. If you're saying that's evil, then you're saying you're evil. This is why this is not a channel based upon looking at things right and wrong, good and bad, pure and evil. We're here to put this together. If you're a Moor saying fuck the Hebrews, or you're a Hebrew saying fuck the Christians, you're a Christian saying I don't deal with the Egyptians, or you're an Egyptian saying we don't fuck with Islam, you're not being God. And I'm not saying to hold hands with them and skip in the park on a beautiful sunny day with butterflies and people walking their dogs with smiles on their face. I'm talking about what is the common denomination? What is the main thing that keeps showing up in these separate groups or these separate tribes or these separate civilizations or these separate time and eras throughout the timeline, throughout our spiritual and biological, anatomical, chronological states of existence? What keeps appearing? That is the true magic. That is your ability to do as thou wilt with what you now know. What 9 out of 10 of people that walk past you and drive past you every damn day has no clue about. And even if they have a clue, they're still judgmental. They're still judgmental. I'm not saying for a blood to walk in the Crips territory and say, hey, listen, I know this is your neighborhood family, but we both indigenous. We both own this side of town. The other niggas gonna be like, I don't know what you're talking about because you got that flag on and you rock that and you represent that. You can't come over here saying that. That's not gonna work. Same thing with a blood or Crip going to a blood territory. The blood's gonna be like, nah, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, we both black and all that and indigenous, but you represent that. You can't come over here saying that we're just indigenous. We can get together and just click up and chill out, because that's human politics. Like I said before, if you're looking at something as wrong and right, you're dealing with human politics. You're a spiritual politician. You're not solar. You're not a solar being. You're not being godly, godlike. You're a separatist. So I'm not saying for gangs to just mesh up and just click up, and if they do, that's what's up. But all I'm saying is, as an outside observer, as you being the observer of your reality, what are the Bloods and Crips? What is their main thing? What are they doing? What are they trying to accomplish? What symbols are they wearing? What's going on? What can you find in that side, the right side, that you can find that the left side also has? And you put that together in your mind's eye. And you keep it to yourself and you walk your path. It's not your duty or your job to go to each gang side and say, hey, listen, y'all guys wear the same symbol. Why don't we all just, you know, you probably not even get your whole sentence out. Somebody's going to start shooting at you. It's for you to know deeply, quietly, and silently, and privately within self. It begins to make sense to you. Something begins to whisper in your ear and make sense to you. And you, as you're looking for the common denomination, because you're trying to put together common law understanding. Common law understanding. This is what this is about. See, so begin to use your intuition and bring about fruition. Intuition, of course, is the right brain as well as the feminine aspect. And you're looking to use your intuition to convert it into fruition. This is where you get in the Biblios where they say, be fruitful and multiply. Somebody may perceive it, oh, it's okay, I'm going to have 5 children and 10 children. Somebody can see in the aspect of what I just told you. Intuition should convert into fruition. This is how you become divine, because the fruits grow on the vine. The vine is divine. So when you turn your intuition into fruition, you now become the divine one. Appreciate y'all for joining us live. Be live, stay alive, do the work, the inner work. As I told y'all before, the product's on the website, asyouare.com, asyuar.com. Once again, asyuar.com. Cashapp payments are preferred more than the other payment platforms on the website. Get in touch with me by email. All the information will be left on the bottom of the video as usual. And I see y'all in class. I seen y'all in class today. I had class today. Always successful, always powerful, always amazing. Um, I see my students next week, and I see y'all who booked the consultations and consultees in a few, as well as next week and so on and so forth. Appreciate y'all joining, and stay on it. Start the flame, the moths shall come. What's whispering in your ear? As you are. No problem. No problem.